1989, I think, was our first run, and we did that in Corpus Christi, Texas. And we broke the boat there, but we kept doing this. And in Lethbridge, Canada, we finally broke Crossbow's record, which was only 36.0, and we exceeded that by a couple knots. From there, we went to Bodega, went a little faster. Then we went to Europe, where we went 42 knots in the French Trench, which is a man-made trench dug right next to the beach. Got huge attention throughout the country. I couldn't believe it. Of course, French love sailing. And then we went to southern Spain, Tarifa, where we went 43.6 knots, followed by Africa. There's a country off the coast of Senegal, and we found an area there where we could go about 43.7 knots, and that was the Cape Verde Islands. They have a vortex between two mountain ranges there, where it blew 40 every single day downwind of this beach, so it was perfect flat water, and the boat just ripped. Loved it. And then we tried one last trials in Bodega Bay, and in Bodega we had the wing sails for the first time and just blew the boat up at some terrific speed. And that was the last we sailed the boat. We parked it 17 years ago. This is the first time the boat's been out since.
And when you say blew the boat up, what exactly happened to the hull or whatnot?
Oh, the backstay broke. We had too much power in the rigs, and it just hit the water. So I probably had about a 45 knot crash, about 50 miles an hour in a sailboat. Probably very few people that have experienced that before, but I was lucky not to get injured. It was quite a sudden stop.
So you ceased for a while, and now you've pulled it back out of mothballs. And what's the goal at this point in time?
Well, we're trying to figure out how fast the boat would really go, and whether it's worth going to Namibia, off the coast of Africa, to try for the 52 knot record, which is what it's been pushed up to now by Hydropter, a French hydrofoil trimaran that's 60 feet long.
So do you think a boat as small as yours could actually eclipse that?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that a small boat could go that fast. But what's holding back all the boats now, I think, is the hydrofoil technology. So we thought maybe we had solved it and the boat could probably go up around 50, but it's hard to say. I mean, we were about a half mile offshore today when we hit 40 knots, which is amazing for a small boat like this. You'd think that we got to have flat water to go that kind of speed. If we were in flat water, there's no telling what we would have done. I mean, I think the foils would have been the limiting factor. So would we have gone, 45, 50, 52? It's really hard to tell, actually. My guess is we would have been somewhere in the high 40s, if not low 50s, but you don't know until you do it.
Cool. So the next step with the boat is?
Well, we got to look at some of the things that got torqued today. We did some damage to to the starboard beam. There's a crack in it. The sheave block that holds the main sheet was bent because there's so much force on it. And there were a few other little nicks and scrapes that we worried about. So we got to retrench, figure out whether we're going to head to Africa, whether it's worth the trip and the expense and the time and the risk too, because when boats like this blow up, it's as a driver, you're not totally safe.
Will we see Longshot on the bay or Bodega Bay or anyplace else before that?
Probably not.
Probably not. So this was the one and only chance.
This probably was it.
Okay. Let's touch a little bit on your Blue Water Network.
Blue Water Network, yeah.
Yeah. You divulged a little bit after you stopped sailing this back in 1990 or 92 it was, and then you did the Blue Water Action Network. Are you still involved with that?
Yeah, I merged Blue Water Network into Friends of the Earth, which is one of the biggest international environmental groups with offices in 80 countries. And so I'm on the board of Friends of the Earth US, and we're involved in every single environmental issue imaginable, everything from global warming and air and water pollution, toxic chemical pollution. And it's taken so much of my time over the past 16 years. That's why I haven't been racing boats. It's because, when you're out there fighting polluters and doing environmental battles, it just takes all your energy, all your time.
And are you currently engaged in any campaigns?
No, I finally backed off. I'm not doing 100% environmental work anymore.
Okay.
I'm still involved in a few fights in California to get rid of fire retardant chemicals from our furniture, which is probably much more toxic to humans than pesticides in our food. It's now linked to everything from ADHD to memory problems, developmental disorders, reproductive problems, maybe even autism is what the researchers are thinking now. And we got 1 or 2 pounds of these chemicals in all of our homes across the country because of an obscure California law. So we're working to try to change that. We have been for a few years. And I'm also making documentary films. So there's 2 that I'm involved in on global warming and several others.
Anything else you'd like to add before we shut her down?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, Eric.